Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who Big Finish review. In today's Doctor Who Big Finish review, I'm taking a look at the last instalment in the Out of Time trilogy, Wink, where we see the 10th Doctor and the 6th Doctor face off the Weeping Angels. Now I have reviewed the previous other Out of Time stories, so Out of Time and the Gates of Hell. I'll leave a link in the description below to both of those reviews and my Big Finish review playlist, so if you're going to check out any of the Big Finish content that I've done, then please do check them out down below. And if you're new around here and you like Big Finish, then please do consider hitting that subscribe button. So the way this video is going to work is I'm going to take a look at the presentation of the CD and then give you my thoughts on the final instalment on Out of Time, Wink. Presentation wise for the CD, we've got this lovely cover of the 6th Doctor and 10th Doctor there and the Weeping Angels sort of surrounding them, holding the TARDIS for this sort of nice sort of mirrored effect of the city, what features within this story. We've got the lovely sort of 6th Doctor Starfield and the 10th Doctor Vortex there. Really like this cover for this one. The back of the recess, we've got the bio on the story, so if you want to know more about the story, then do feel free to pause. And the total running time for this story being 1 hour, but it's actually 52 minutes. So if we open the leaflet up there, we've got the cast list, what features within the story, the Weeping Angel and production credits. And of course we do have the reversible cover if you want to have the 10th Doctor logo there, which does look very nostalgic seeing that logo on a Big Finish cover. It does look like something you'd see on like the Doctor Who book range, which I really do like. And then we have the spine of all the Out of Time stories together there. Wink, the final instalment in the Out of Time trilogy, has arrived from the 4th Doctor and the Daleks to the 5th Doctor and Cybermen to now the 6th Doctor versus the Weeping Angels. Now Colin Baker in the past has been quite dismissive of the Weeping Angels by saying just wink, and now it's time for Lisa McMullen to prove to him that that might not be the best strategy to beat the Weeping Angels. Lisa McMullen, who is a fantastic writer, who wrote one of my favourite 9th Doctor stories, Girl Deconstructed, who's very much become a Big Finish regular, so I was excited to have the combo of her writing a multi-Doctor story, and she's very good at capturing eras very well. So what do I make of this adventure? Well, I think that it's a good, solid story, a brilliant concept, a very strong idea for this story, having this sort of society not having the sense of sight. So this society doesn't have the concept of vision, instead they have a different ability, which is intuit. Having a monster that preys on the ability of sight makes for a cracking idea, which sadly I don't think sort of translates well on audio. The story itself, we kick off the adventure with the 10th Doctor piloting the TARDIS, wanting to go around the nebula 3 times, but the TARDIS has other ideas. The TARDIS wants to take him somewhere else, which the 10th Doctor is not ready to go where the TARDIS wants him to go, which fits very well and fits nicely with the Out of Time one, with the 10th Doctor wanting one last bit of fun before destiny awaits him. But a time disturbance pulls the Doctor to the planet of Lucidius, where we're introduced to the supporting character of Dax, and sadly Dax is our first victim of the Weeping Angels. Now the music really enhances the Weeping Angels, giving them a presence, especially when they're moving into attack. But you do get some excellent moments featuring the Weeping Angels, some nice tense moments, especially when the sort of 6th Doctor and 10th Doctor and supporting characters are sort of trying to escape the gallery. But I will say that this, I don't think the setting of this story utilises the Weeping Angels to their full advantage. I think the Weeping Angels really work wonders when they're set in a sort of creepy gothic horror type story, whereas you've got a very different setting, which we'll talk about now. So the 10th Doctor recognises a very familiar voice, the 6th Doctor. So back to sort of the world this story is set on. Now the world of Lucidius is an interesting idea. It's this sort of bright white light sort of society where you can't see anything because it's in total whiteout. But on the day the Doctors arrive, there's an eclipse which plunges the planet into darkness. So it's a great sort of idea, which I don't think really suits the Weeping Angels and it doesn't lend the horror to the Weeping Angels personally. Now the Doctors meet pretty quickly compared to the other Out of Time stories. Now I will say, when the Doctors meet, they have a sort of this brotherly dynamic, but they have sort of a bicker and a squabble, but there's sort of a deep love and understanding for each other character. But I will say, I think the pairing of the 10th Doctor and 6th Doctor is a brilliant idea. It's a brilliant combo, as these two Doctors have a bit of an ego, especially the 10th Doctor, as he's sort of the vanity Doctor, and the 6th Doctor, well, he's a bit arrogant. So this story, I would have loved to have seen them explore that idea, sort of that shake up the dynamic between the Doctors, really, because I think that's what was sort of missing, because I think these two Doctors have very big personalities, and I don't think the story capitalises on that as much as it should have done. So I think that would have been a nice change compared to the other Out of Time stories, where the Doctors get on pretty well, especially the 5th and 10th Doctor. So I think that it would have been nice, a nice shake-up really, to see these Doctors have a bit more of a back and forth with each other really. Now, one thing to note, the 10th Doctor uses a shadow lamp to help dim the bright light, and hints that the 6th Doctor should try a blue outfit, which I think is a nice little nod to real time. Now, the 10th Doctor spots a moving figure in the distance, a weeping angel, well, 2 of them. The 10th and 6th Doctor rush back to their TARDIS, and we get a nice little joke about the windows, and luckily the 10th Doctor has a key fob, which is a nice little reference back to the end of time, to get back inside the TARDIS. Now, the 6th Doctor gets some nice little jokes about the console, you know, but the 10th Doctor is aiming for atmospheric, and the 6th Doctor saying, well, why don't we just wink? And we learn that the 6th Doctor was zapped back by the angel in the future, back into the past, and this is causing the 10th Doctor to be pulled into this time disturbance, proving that Wink isn't probably the best solution to stop the Weeping Angel. So we have the 6th and 10th Doctor travel back to 300 years in the future. This is when we're introduced to probably our main 2 supporting characters what feature within this story, Estra and Padilla, who are moving the Weeping Angels to the city, and we realise how many statues are actually on this planet, and we realise that how can a society live alongside the Weeping Angels. So this is when we realise that these people can't see, and this begins the notion of a quest to find the Weeping Angel, what sent the 6th Doctor back in time. So the 10th Doctor and 6th Doctor and new friends go to the city, and they realise a horrible, chilling fate has happened to the other people on this world, as we learn of what happened to Dax. And this is when we get sort of quite a nice sort of creepy moment as we get Angel Dax introduced to the story, where he has sort of being sent to the gallery, which of course is a bit of a trap. Now, the art gallery within this is a really nice idea, because obviously when you think of art gallery you think, oh, it's paintings, but these people haven't got the ability to see, so they have different soundscapes, which allows the sound designers to go all out, creating this rather funky different sort of soundscapes and environments, which works very well. And there's a very chilling one of the Weeping Angels attacking. Now, this is when we learn that the Weeping Angels are feeding off the regenerations between 6th and the 10th Doctor as the angels begin to multiply. This is when the story goes a bit cat and mouse, with the 6th Doctor and 10th Doctor and new friends being hunted down by the Weeping Angels and the Cherubs, which are very creepy in this, using that sort of childish giggle, which just, yeah, there's something quite spooky about that. But the eclipse is slowly fading, meaning that the Doctors can't protect their new friends, as we learn the angels are not after the Doctor's new friends, Estra and Padilla, because they're completists. So I guess they're like Doctor Who fans, once they start something they want to complete it. So fair play to the Weeping Angels in that regard. So we have a very sort of tense moment as this sort of the Weeping Angels are waiting at the Doctor's TARDISes to attack them to get their new friends, but luckily the Doctor has a key fob, so he's able to protect his new friends. The Doctor's new friends are able to escape, but sadly the Doctors aren't, as they're plunged back in time. So this is when we go back to realising that all the people of this planet have been displaced, and we learn more about the Weeping Angel feeding cycle. More angels are appearing, but there are 51, so why are there 51 angels appearing? And this is when the story gets a bit timey-wimey with a sort of solution to stop the angels, which is very fitting of a Stephen Moffat creation, as we have the Doctor's plan in action, as we have sort of the 10th Doctor in the past to deal with Angel Dax, and the 6th Doctor dealing with the other angels. And I will say that the ending does feel very new series, which I do appreciate, and that's one thing what Lisa McMullen gets right, is just the tone of the era perfectly. So what are my overall thoughts on Wink? Well, I think it's an enjoyable romp, a fitting paradoxical timey-wimey story, very in keeping with Stephen Moffat. Lisa McMullen really captures the tone of the era very well. Fun character moments between the Doctors. Sadly, I wanted a little bit more bickering, especially exploring the clash of egos more. I think the angels work well, but sadly I don't think the setting of this story really helps their fear factor. I think Wink itself has so many cool ideas on paper, I just don't think it translates well into the final product. I did think that the story suffered a bit of pacing issue towards the end. I think David Tennant for me is the star of this audio, keeping the energy up. Colin Baker is great, and I think the person playing Angel Dax, I think Clive Hayward, provides some great chilling moments throughout the story. The other supporting characters I feel are a little bit forgettable. I do appreciate the little nods to continuity, like the other Out of Time stories, the Unicorn and the Wasp, and the classic Who exterior design, and Colin Baker's view on the Weeping Angels and Real Time, and the End of Time itself, giving us a nice little nod in the sound design of where the 10th Doctor's heading next. But yeah, I think that it's a good story. I think it's alright. It does everything what it says on the tin. It's a multi-Doctor story with the 6th and 10th Doctor facing the Weeping Angels. I admire the sort of timey-wimey paradoxical elements of the story. I think the ideas are all there. I just don't think they all knit together. So I think this is why I'm going to give Wink a 7 out of 10. I think that it's a good solid story, it's worth a listen, but I think some of the ideas just don't quite translate well onto the final product. So thank you very much for watching this review, and I'll see you next time for more Big Finish related content.